What's up, everybody? I'm Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, where today I'm gonna be doing a review on an album that's been doing this review so long ago. I'm just getting around to listen to the album. But the thing is, I don't like wanna. My thing is like I don't want to do these reviews without giving it my all in a way. And I could have came in here and did like some half-ass review on this album, but I wanted to take my time and digest it and understand it a bit more. So that was the hold up for all the people who's been waiting for this review. Without further ado, today I'm gonna be reviewing Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. This is my fifth Led Zeppelin review so far. I did 1 through 4 pretty much, and I took a break, but it felt good coming back to listening to a Zeppelin album and just remembering the vibes that I got from the previous 4 that I listened to and reviewed. And I was like, oh, here we go. We're down on that trip again. Let's do this. Like I was prepared as soon as the first song came on. I was like, yep, this is the vibe I was looking for. This album was released in February of '75, something like that. Long time ago. It's their first double disc album. They said that what did they make? About 8 records. 8 records on this album is new. Technically, all of them are new to the fans, but they're new written records, and the other, what is it, 8 out of 15. The rest of them are records that were already produced and recorded and written during Zeppelin 3 through House of the Holy, songs that just didn't make the cut. And that was funny because I never really seen that done. Like I've seen, lost tape albums and things of that nature when it's just, a bunch of songs that no one's ever heard that didn't make the cut. But I never heard of an album that had like, these are new songs. Some new songs are sprinkled in, some old songs are sprinkled in. It was usually like the old songs would just be on this disc, but they're sprinkled in throughout the whole album. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it actually flowed oddly for like to be pulling all these songs from random albums and just plugging them in where they fit. It actually worked. So kudos to them for that. Over 12 million records sold. How many diamond records do Led Zeppelin have? Someone in the comments just let me know quickly. I didn't want to take too much of your time, so let's get into it. Before we start, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's do it. We could do it. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the show. It's pretty great. And get ready to leave your comments. Any behind the scenes or fan knowledge you may have of this record, let me know in the comments. I'm always willing to learn new stuff. I'm always willing to look at live performances or any footage you can send me. I listen and I go look at all of it. So thanks for everybody who leaves a comment and things of that nature. I do pay attention and appreciate that. The first song is Custard Pie, and just like any Led Zeppelin album, if you've seen any of my previous reviews, I enjoy all the intros. Like I think they do a masterful job of just picking the right song to start off the album, and Custard Pie is like just another one in that arsenal for me. I feel like it's a great vibe. It's a great starter record. It's sexy. It's rock and roll. It's all those things. I chew on a piece of your custard pie. I was like, yeah, let's all the sexual innuendos. It was a great record. I just love the vibe. Don. Like just the whole vibe of it. Down. The whole vibe of it is just. I was in here with my headphones just going off. The custard pie. And yes, I do have on a Who shirt and a Led Zeppelin review. Sorry. Great intro to the record. I really enjoyed it. It had me standing up and perked up ready to, okay, what's this album? Because going into it, I was like, oh shit, a double disc album. This is going to be long. I don't know how maybe I had to break up the first disc to the second, but oddly it all flowed together and it kept me on. Like I listened to it a couple times straight through, which is crazy for me for a long double disc album, but listen to it straight through. Really good. Great way to start the record off. We go into The Rover. I love the guitar on that record. I feel like I've heard that song before. I don't know where or how, but I feel like I've heard that song before. As soon as I heard the guitar riff, I was like, I know this. And drum, I was like, I know this from somewhere. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Maybe in a passing car or something, or TV. But I was like, I heard this song before. In My Time of Dying, those drums on there. Good grief. Good God. Those drums on there is just hard. And I didn't even listen to like the like I guess if it's on digital, it's probably remastered a bit, but I didn't even listen to like the remastered version. I listened to the original one. I like to vibe out to the original copies just to see, especially on first listen, just to see the vibe that that artist wanted me to hear them, and the time just to get sucked into the time in a way. But those drums on that record was so crisp and so sharp. I was wondering like who mixed this record, because the drums are just hitting. Like that's the first thing I noticed. It has that old town. I said old town. It has that old town. It has that old time like country rock and roll feel. I love that about it. I love how Led Zeppelin always just shows respect to the forefathers who came before them, and they do that on a couple records on here as well. But I just always, one of the things I always loved about Led Zeppelin, to be as big as they are, they always gave back to the people who came before them, and I always thought that was pretty dope. And that electric guitar, it was a great backing for Plant's vocals, to me. That's just me. And it's clocked in as their longest song ever. I'm not sure how true that is, because this is only my fifth album listened to. But if that's true, let me know in the comments. And that beat pickup around the 5-minute mark. If you look back, I hate to keep repeating myself, but if you look back on my previous Zeppelin reviews, I mentioned how I love their beat switches. I love their progression of song and things of that nature. And it just continued to this album. Is just, damn, do y'all ever, does Led Zeppelin have a bad album? I'm posing a question to the audience. Let me know in the comments. Next record is House of the Holy, which is crazy because obviously that was their previous album, and I never seen a title track get scrapped from the title album. I never seen that in my existence. Listening to music, like, yeah, imagine if Michael Jackson put Thriller on Bad, like, that's kind of weird, but okay, whatever. It still works. Trampled Underfoot. That song is just funky. That's a funky record, man. That is a funky record to me. When I just made just doing that face the whole time to it. Like, what is it? Cashmere. I think that's what it is. That record is just hard. I know I heard that before. It was so stupid, but it was like P. Diddy Godzilla soundtrack back in the day. Stupid video, stupid song, but that's where I first heard it, and I probably heard this in commercials or a movie or something. But it's just tough. It's just tough, man. Like that riff is just, yeah. And then we get to the second CD. Well, technically the second disc, which we start in the Light. And let me just say this now. I enjoyed the whole CD before I continue this review. I enjoyed the whole CD, but I think I enjoyed the second disc more. Where are my second disc fans at? Let me know in the comments. But I think I enjoyed the second half of the album a little bit, a tiny, slight bit more than the first disc. But In the Light, this is one of the songs that I think Page, and I seen clips of him doing this a lot. He used a violin bow to play his guitar, and I seen him do that before a couple times, like in live shows. But that's pretty fucking dope. Just the thought of that is just pretty dope. Like, has anybody ever did this with the guitar though? Dope. I think the instruments they use in that record, everything about that record, the progression of it, the percussion, the synthesizers, everything about that record is just, it's perfect. And I don't even use that word that often when it comes to music, but it's like everything was just tight. Like it was no hiccups anywhere. It was just tight. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed that. Great way to start the second disc. And then, fun fact, I read that they never played this song live because something with they couldn't get the instruments right to sound like it did on record. And I'm like, damn, what year was this? Because I'm pretty sure we could make this happen. They could have made this happen. And I think Jimmy Page even said this was a follow-up to Stairway to Heaven, which shows you how much pressure, because Stairway to Heaven is just fucking godly. So just imagine. Down by the Seaside, the vocals on that song, it reminds me of Beatle-esque, John Lennon-ish, especially on the hook. It reminded me, I was like, I like this song, maybe because I just like John Lennon so much. The beat switch on there is dope. That song is just about, slowing down a bit. You know what I mean? Like taking things in, not being so caught up in the the adulthood of life and things. Like you losing your childhood, you losing your imagination, you're losing so much stuff that made you when you become an adult, that sometimes it could be draining on you, and sometimes you just need to watch and just settle down and take things in down by the seaside. And I think this song was recorded, one of the songs that was recorded like in the early 70s. So just shows you how it still resonated in the time that it came out in, and even to today, it's pretty amazing. This is another song that was never performed live. Crazy. 10 Years Gone. The first thing I thought when the song came on was like, oh, the Tupac sample. For all the people out there, don't get mad at me, but this is what hip hop does. It helps bridge this gap. So when I heard dun 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 dun, I thought a Tupac sample, but it made me like the song. It made me just pay attention to the song a little bit more, because I was like, I know this record. I know the record that sampled it. Let me see the roots that it grew from in a way. I read that song was about I think it was Robert Plant's ex-girlfriend, and she gave him like an ultimatum, whether it was just her or his music, and you obviously know the answer to what he chose. Changes fill my time, baby, that's all right with me. In the midst, I'll think of you and how it used to be. The writing is just so great when it comes to Zeppelin, man. It's just so great. And that guitar solo, it might be my favorite part of the record. Let me just go through a couple more. 10 Years, Night Fight, the Wonton song. The Wonton song is just a vibe. Like, it's one of my favorites. It was just a great vibe on the record. The drums, the guitar following each other, like they were playing identical to each other. The vocal performance on there is amazing, and that guitar at the hook, I would assume, is just crazy. Like I could rewind that guitar part in that hook. At the tail end of the hook is like the last 4 bars of the hook, 8 bars of the hook, and I could just like, damn, that was a really good it's a really good melody, man. Like it's those weird light orange kind of melodies that always touch my soul. Boogie in the Stew is one of those old school rock records. Again, I always appreciate Led Zeppelin showing love to the ancestors. I think they recorded that at Mick Jagger's house or something like that, in his garden or something like that. I read some weird stuff like that, and it was supposed to be on Houses of the Holy, but it was dropped for unknown reasons, they say. And it's crazy, they just like, we only got 8 songs, we need more to make a double album. And they was like, hey, let's grab the old songs that we did. Yeah, let's grab them. That's a funny way. Let me see. And then the album ends with, well, just the double disc, because it is a triple disc version of this album. I'm just keeping that double disc because I'll be here all night. Sick Again, and that one just describes like an underage groupie, for lack of better words. Yeah, that's pretty much what it describes. There's no other way around that one, and that one is just straight cut forward. Let me get into my best songs. 10 Years Gone, the Wonton song, and Custard Pie. Those are my 3. What's your 3 favorites? Let me know in the comments. Worst song, Boogie with the Stew. Best line, flying the skies of fortune, each a separate way, on the wings of maybe dawning birds of prey. I thought that was just great poetry. That line just stood out to me immediately. As soon as I heard it, I said, let me write that down. That's my best line. Fucks given for this record, if I could. Obviously, my opinion is just my opinion. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's not my favorite Zeppelin album, but let's wrap this shit up though. In closing, when it comes to Physical Graffiti, I really enjoyed the album. I really did. And even with the long, and I enjoyed all the Zeppelin albums I've heard so far, so I'm not surprised by that. It's just a great record. Custard Pie, The Rover, In My Time of Dying, Cashmere, In the Light, 10 Years Gone, Wonton song. Like, it's a bunch of great records on here, and it's funny. Quick question. If anyone knows, why not just release the 8 records that they had as the album? Like, what was I get it, like they wanted to make a double disc album, but what was the real reason why, like, they didn't just put out the 8 records that were new, and that was Physical Graffiti? Please, somebody in the comments, let me know. Diehard Zeppelin fans, let me know. You wouldn't understand, well, some will, that how hard it is to make a cohesive album and make an album sound great. And it's ultra hard to make an album sound great when you're pulling records that's 3 or 4 years old and blending them with the new you, and it all still sounded cohesive, and it still sounded great, and it just still was great. I wouldn't say that on this album that Led Zeppelin like push things forward or change the course of music or anything like that with the like, because I mean they did Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4, so it's like those were the times I think where they were just like changing music. This one they sounded way comfortable. They sounded like we know what to do. We're on our sixth album. You do this, you do this, you do this. Do it to the best of your ability. We're gonna knock this shit out of the park. We're in the zone. Like it was just a comfortability. To me, it sounded like in greatness, not even like a comfortability in a negative way, but just comfortability in a great way. Like everything just worked. So kudos to them, man. Any other Led Zeppelin album I should check out? Let me know in the comments. What's some of your favorite records on here? Yeah. What's your top 3 Zeppelin albums? Let me know in the comments. Again, fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace.